Do you think millennial women are suffering now since they were taught to focus on being independent and then find love?
Today we are going to be talking about how millennial generations have been duped into this understanding about finding your career first and then finding love. But then it's been having some real negative impacts on their lives.
They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man.
It's interesting to see how millennial generations have been operating online and how they've been sharing their experiences when it comes to dating and how it's actually been impacting them on their livelihoods, on their mental state, and even their love lives and what's been told to do and not to do. And we're going to hear it for ourselves.
Great. One of the questions on here, Mia the Mogul asked, do you think millennial women are suffering now since they were taught to focus on being independent and then find love? Short answer, yes.
That's such a hard question because I don't like the term independent. That is unfortunate. But what I think about is you should take the time to find out who you are. And some people find that sooner than later. That's why I'm saying like 25, 30. Okay, marriage makes sense around 30, I believe. But before that, go to school, travel, try the foods, drink the wines, make the friends, learn what you like, date. That doesn't mean that you have to be sexually active. Be in relationships so you can actually find new levels of yourself, because ultimately marriage is just a relationship that you're locked into by contract. I actually kind of like the definition of this.
What's the definition?
Free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. And I think that's important. So I feel like independence, I think, is being interchanged with fear, with projection, and with ego. And what I mean by that is there's nothing wrong with not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. I think it becomes masculine when you say that and you radiate that energy. I don't need no man. I don't need nobody there for me. I don't need none of that. I think that is when you go into ego. That is where you go into fear. Yeah. That is where you go into lack. And that is where you go into your masculine energy because you hit the fight or flight. And I am an independent woman, but you will never hear me say that. You will never hear me talk about how much money I make to any man. That is never a conversation. In fact, I steer away from conversations that talk about my wallet because I don't want my man to think that I make as much money as I make. I don't want it to even be on the radar because for me, I don't act like that. In fact, I'm like little baby princess angel muffin Pookie Bear. So inside of that,
baby princess.
Yes, inside of that, no, I want you to desire to take care of me. Men want to feel needed. I'm going to
and I feel
need
like that's
you.
a lot of the problem.
Millennial generations are really their own problem. As we heard here, they will give other generations, younger generations, the same advice that put them where they are at now, where they will say, live your life, find this and do that. Meanwhile, you all end up single. So how far does it really go when the own advice that you've taken has led you here? Still talking about finding the one. Meanwhile, time is ticking by. It should be easy just to say that they were wrong.
I think we're currently witnessing early onset millennial midlife crisis on social media, and I don't say that to be funny. And you know who I blame? I'm just going to blame it on capitalism. I'm going to blame it on capitalism and social media. Gen Z is going to experience this shortly as well. There's a New York Times article that talks exactly about this, except the early onset part, but that might be kind of implied. They say some of the causes are growing up and showing signs of aging, trying to stay culturally relevant, and aging out of the internet. I didn't say that. Those are not my words. Take it up with the author.
Well, I hate this narrative that's pushed on millennials or the generation below us that we're lazy. We are not lazy. But we are in fact tired. We go and get the degrees y'all said we needed to be successful. Get that degree, then you need a higher degree. You get the higher degree. You go to apply for the job with the degree, and then they say you're overqualified. We get the jobs, they raise the price of living. So then you have to get another job to keep up with the cost of living. And then you have no time for yourself. And now your mental health is jacked up because all you do is work. We are literally on a hamster wheel chasing this American dream that our parents had that does not exist for us. Most of our parents in their late 20s and 30s where we are, they had homes, they were married. We are in a rat race. And it seems like we're never able to catch up. Like the amount of people who live at home with their parents because they have to. We would love to buy homes. We would love to start families. But in this economy, that is not happening. And so I'm just like, I've surrendered. It's in God's hands. But what I won't do is kill myself trying to chase something that may not even exist anymore. We're not lazy. We're tired.
My girls in their 30s, I need to know, is anyone else in this weird stage of life where they're in their lazy girl / it is what it is era, but at the same time also in a glow up era where they want to do so much, but you just don't feel like doing shit at all? Like I'm in this weird stage of life where I just want to sit on the couch, binge watch TV, drink wine, eat all the food. As a millennial, I think I'm just tired. At the same time, I feel like I'm in this glow up boss up era where I have to accomplish so many goals or life is like gonna leave me behind. I don't know what it is, but it's this weird feeling of just confused as shit. Maybe it's just me. Anyone else feel like that?
I am in this weird phase where I just have no goals and no desire to accomplish anything. I came into the new year as if it was just another day. I didn't deep clean my home. I didn't write anything down. I just woke up. And for me, that is literally foreign. I've always been goal-oriented. I remember getting a journal as a gift when I was in elementary school. I used to write down exactly what I wanted to do. And I would always use I statements. I'm going to do this, or I am doing this. At first, I was like, maybe I'm depressed. So I'm talking to my therapist about it. She doesn't think I'm depressed. And I realized I spent the majority of my 20s in survival mode. I was struggling mentally, financially. I had a hoopty at the time. I was praying nothing would go wrong. I also had a medical bill that I didn't pay because I just couldn't pay it. My credit score was tanking, like it was going down so bad. Now that I've kind of moved past that, I'm not necessarily focused on survival. And I realized a lot of the goals that I had back then were so that I would get out of that point and get to where I am now. And now it's very much giving clueless because I don't know what to do next and I don't really have a desire to figure it out right now. I feel like I should feel guilty, but the other part of me is like, nah. Because for me, the new year really starts in April, because that's when my birthday is. So for now, until then, no goals. You know why she feels like that? Because millennials are burnt the hell out. Here's why. We done lived 9 damn lives already, and we're only 30 years old. That's not weird to y'all? I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I should be retiring right now. I'm 30 years old, and I feel like I done been through hell and back. I'm 30 years old feeling like I'm goddamn near 50 years old. Our whole lives we've been taught that we have to work. After we went to school, we have been taught that we have to go to work after, and we've been working for about 15 years if you started like me and started working around 15, 16 years old. We are at the point where we are tired, okay? This dream that they supposedly sold us when we were younger is no longer a dream. There's no longer an American dream anymore. Like, is not anybody not thinking about that? So on one hand, I feel like I'm 50 years old. But on the other hand, I also feel like I'm a teenager. I'm learning so much. We didn't have enough time. We just kind of got thrust into this like lifestyle, this like trying to be older or something like that. This whole boss culture got y'all working like 6 or 7 doggone jobs. Like, come on. Why are we 30 years old working freaking 3 or 4 jobs? Are you serious right now? I feel like this American dream is over and they freaking left us for dead.
We don't talk enough about the millennial generations that continuously talk about how tired they are. That's how the soft girl era actually became a thing, because the millennial generations have exhausted themselves to gain all of these resources and actually got nothing from it.
Ladies, no matter where you go in life or who you get married to, make sure you are financially independent. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom. Find ways to earn. This is a lesson that can never be learned too early. Teach it to your daughters, to your granddaughters. Drill it in their heads. Teach them economic independence so that when they ever get married, they have a partner and not a master. We've all heard the stories. If you haven't, go to my Q&As. Alright? Many women are forced to live lifestyles they don't want to. But because they have to depend on their partners financially, they endure mistreatment and abuse.
These are the advice that was pumped into the millennial generations that really has left them a bit lost and tired, as they recognize that a big part of themselves is there no more because they really rinsed it in their prime years.
When the Destiny Child's, independent women track came out, everyone was like, yeah, I'm an independent woman, and I don't need a man for this and I don't need a man for that. But they forgot, like, okay, if you're independent, you stay independent. It can't fluctuate. You either are, you aren't. Like, not really aren't, but you're cool with it just being a level playing field.
What they didn't teach the millennial generations enough, and what they're not teaching this generation, Gen X, Gen Alpha, is that when you choose to be independent, you are most likely to stay that way. And either you're going to be there or it's going to be the same playing field. And that's where 50-50 comes into the conversation. That's where now you have to do this, we have to do this. Now you own this, you can do more, home ownership, all of these things, because you have put yourself here and you thought that you could play that independent playing field and then come out as a wife and as a soft girl, or however they want to rephrase what a traditional lifestyle is, that they didn't realize there is an actual balanced way to live life. You see, social media is going to fill a lot of these females' minds in BS. And it's either one way or another. There's never no middle ground, but the middle ground exists. Somehow, a lot of females do not exist in it. But guess who does? Wives. With their husbands and their family. And they always will talk about the worst scenario, worst cases that's happened to a lot of other women. But that is not the majority. The majority of wives and women are right back in the middle, living a healthy life where they are building with their husbands and they're not so tired out and exhausted all by themselves. See, whatever they put into, they're gonna get something out of it, because that's what you do when you have a family and a husband that is really invested not just in you, but what you have done as well. When you're independent, there's no return in that. It comes down to you now and what you invest in and hoping that you will get the return. And that's just going to be over and over again. There's never going to be no pause, and there's never going to be no backup, and there's never going to be anyone there with you doing what you're doing. You are working for yourself forever. That's exhausting. And essentially, a lot of these millennial generations are realizing that that's what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. Working just to live. Meanwhile, wives and mothers are not just working just to live, but they're building with their family.